be breakup of, will there be any bifurcation in the scheme given there are two parts of the scheme, target segment 1, target segment 2?
Fungible. Practically, mobile phone production cumulative, which was about 22 lakh crore, will be doubling in this period. It will go up to 40 lakh crore. That's a big thing. And as you know, last year, smartphone as a category, as a product, was the largest exported item out of India. That position will be retained, that position will be further strengthened. Electronics manufacturing became the third largest category. That will also get sustained now with all these initiatives.
Hi sir, Danish from Money Control. The government says that the scheme supports the Indian brands to go global. So a lot of Indian companies which are currently making phones for the domestic market are they are facing the fund problem. They don't have enough sufficient funds to invest in the IPs. Is there a mechanism to support to develop new IPs?
That is precisely the TS2. TS2 target segment 2 is for supporting Indian IP, Indian design, Indian brand. That's a fundamental initiative. It's a very ambitious initiative, but we have taken in consultation with the industry. If you recall, we had a mobile manufacturing ecosystem, but because of the tax issues and because of the Chinese onslaught, it became impossible for them to compete in the market. Now that we have been able to establish the ecosystem back in our country, time has come when we should be now focusing on developing Indian brand, Indian IP, Indian design. That is the thought process, and I think we'll be taking very measured, very calibrated steps on that. We have very closely coordinated with the industry, and we hope that in the tenure of this mobile phone manufacturing scheme, we'll have a good success on the having Indian brands.
Sir, Rishabh with NDTV Profit. We're also looking at non-fiscal measures to support Indian brands. Could you give us some color on what these non-fiscal measures could look like?
We'll share as we go.
From Hindu Business Line. Sorry, you can't see me. I'm sitting behind. Just wanted to understand, this scheme is launched, but right now what Indians are facing is the high rise in the mobile prices because of the chip shortage. So what's government doing about it, and if something can be done about the industry about that? Because middle class families especially are not able to afford those phones, which has gone by 15 to 20% price in their prices over the last 6 months.
As we manufacture more and more memory chips, the Micron plant is basically manufacturing memory chips. As we manufacture more memory chips in India, things will change. And it's a global phenomenon, of course, because the demand for AI data center, demand for memory in the AI data center is driving the rise in prices for memory. But there are so many players who are increasing their capacity in memory production. So like all business cycles, this will also stabilize. तो देखो मोबाइल फ़ोन का मैन्युफैक्चरिंग का जो इकोसिस्टम है, एक मोबाइल फ़ोन में करीब 1000 पार्ट्स होते हैं, 1000 के आसपास कंपोनेंट्स होते हैं डिफरेंट. उसका वो चार्ट निकालना जिसमें सारा देश का नक्शा दिखता है. हाँ, ये अगर आप चार्ट देखोगे, ये 2026 का चार्ट है. इस चार्ट में आपको बहुत क्लियरली दिखाई देता है कि भारत में मोबाइल और इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स के कंपोनेंट का इकोसिस्टम बहुत वाइड स्प्रेड हो गया है, और उसमें मैक्सिमम एमएसएमईज हैं. मैक्सिमम ये जो प्रोडक्शन के कंपोनेंट प्रोडक्शन के इसमें इकोसिस्टम में आप देख रहे हो, मैक्सिमम एमएसएमईज हैं. एमएसएमई और फाइनल प्रोडक्ट्स के बीच में पूरा एक वैल्यू चेन का रिलेशन है. उस तरीके से ये चीज़ डेवलप हो रही है. पीएलआई केवल एक प्योरली प्रोडक्शन बेस्ड था. इसमें डोमेस्टिक वैल्यू के लिए अलग से, डोमेस्टिक वैल्यू एडिशन के लिए अलग से रखा गया है, और साथ ही साथ इंडियन ब्रांड को डेवलप करने के लिए, इंडियन आईपी को डेवलप करने के लिए, इंडियन डिज़ाइन को डेवलप करने के लिए अलग से प्रोविजन रखे गए हैं.
Hi sir, on the right. Hi sir. So 2 questions. One is based on your conversations with the local brands, how soon do you think that applications and operations are actually going to start? Because we do have a few brands that are not hitting that 25% threshold but want to get there. So that's number 1. Number 2 is the notification mentions that there is a process for the empowered committee to recommend non-fiscal support measures. So can you tell us what the non-fiscal support measures are? Is this land assistance?
Non-fiscal support measures we'll announce as we go, as I said in the previous question. Timelines, already the companies are manufacturing, and we have said that this scheme basically kicks in from 1st April of this year, this fiscal year, FY 26-27. So from 1st April 2026, the scheme becomes effective. So that way there is a continuity of the previous program, so that all the hard work which the sector has done so far also gets accounted for. The new brands, the new Indian brand industry is working on it. There is a lot of discussion going on between various players in the entire ecosystem, whether it is the brand designers, the component designers, the design of the full phone, the design of the entire the PCB assembly. All those things are right now, that is work in progress, and as soon as something comes up, we'll definitely inform.
Congratulations, sir. Jasvi from Financial Express. So there have been reports lately that Pixel, as part of their China Plus strategy, might move into countries like India and Vietnam. One, do you see this, sir, as an imperative to rev up the entire smartphone manufacturing ecosystem, like what Apple did when it came to India? And do you see companies like those, sir, applying for the manufacturing scheme?
From our perspective, there are 2 points which are very important. First point is the employment potential of this entire sector. Huge employment potential. Total employment in electronics manufacturing is now 25 lakh plus. Second is the spin-off effects of electronics sector. As one of the charts was showing, one of the charts was showing, the competencies which are developed in mobile phone and electronics manufacturing, they immediately get transferred to many other sectors. For example, if the LED display, that will go into automobile, that will go into smartwatches, that will go into laptops, TVs, many segments that will be used, the same display capability. For example, the mechanical part of it, mechanical will go into multiple sectors. For example, battery, it is shown, battery will go into drones, into medical devices, EV modules, power banks, multiple sectors it will be serving. So the multiplier effect of electronics and smartphone manufacturing is significant. So that's why we are continuously focusing, one, because of electronics, electronics being a very employment intensive industry. Second, the multiplier impact in many other sectors.
Sir, how much value addition you are expecting by the end of this scheme?
As I've said, the highest value addition which one of the countries achieved over a period of 4 decades is 38 to 40%. We have already crossed 25 to 28% band, and we think the way the entire program is structured, this will significantly improve in this MPMS period.
Sir, there was a news report earlier this week which talked about Google shifting its manufacturing base out of China. Do you think that India could be one of the major manufacturing hub for Google to start exporting?
और कहाँ जाएंगे यार?
So Vietnam is also one of the hubs where they make.
We have multiple advantages. One advantage is, of course, the policy certainty. Second advantage is the design capabilities. Our country has very significant design capabilities. In our GCCs, in our tech centers, in our engineering centers, we have huge amount of talent for design. So people are looking at a very sustained growth of electronics and mobile phone manufacturing in India. And that kind of ecosystem and that kind of runway, no other country offers that India offers.
So one add-on question, a lot of this slide says that a lot of components go into laptops, iPad, tablets and all. Do we expect Apple to go beyond phones and start making iPads and Macs in India with the push via the new schemes? Okay. Thank you, sir.
Hi, very good afternoon, sir. So just a couple of questions. Number one, when you talk of the graded incentive mechanism that is there as a part of this PLI, is that geared to maybe for greater exports? Because I was just reading there's an eligibility criteria that needs to be cleared to be eligible for the higher incentive. Is that the push that you were looking for to give towards the exports?
Make more in India.
For the world?
For the world, for India, of course, but make more in India. That's important because that means more employment, that means more taxes, that means much deeper ecosystem.
And just one question on the Indian champion that you're looking for. Do you see that emerging from the existing bouquet of players, or do you see a new player emerging, courtesy this incentive that you give?
Thoda ruko na.
How many Indian companies can come up by the end of this?
पेपर बाद में भी तो छापना है ना, एक ही बार में सारा.
Sir,
Hi, sir. Ankit, sorry.
Sir, here. Sir, Ashish from Business Standard. Sir, under TS2, you are trying to create a new Indian mobile phone brand. Could you sort of explain or which? I mean,
Chalo, everybody is asking about this, so let me take this question head on. See, as I've said, to have an Indian brand, we need the following inputs in it. First, Indian design. 2, that design has to be Indian owned. 3, the brand has to be Indian owned. 4, the manufacturing ecosystem. The manufacturing ecosystem is in place now already. That entire ecosystem is right now, we have it. Design, we have asked multiple players, to be precise, 3 players, to come up with design options. The challenge we have given them is, the design has to match the best in your segment. It cannot be a design which cannot compete with the best in your segment. Segments that are there in the mobile phone industry are segments which are economy segments, then there are premium segments, then there are super premium, then there is a very high value mobile phone. So there are basically 4 segments normally seen in the smartphone. We are asking the industry which segment you would be comfortable with. Their point is that we would like to play in a segment which has very high volume. Because once we have the volume, then we can really have a sustained play, sustained production and a sustained market going forward. So the industry has to now take the final call. They have to come up with the design and prove that the IP is their own. It is not just a copy of somebody else. It's very important to have the IP Indian owned by that company, and we are going to be very particular, very meticulous in evaluating that. As you know, in the each and every meeting with the industry, we always force them to have their design capability, make sure that it is Six Sigma quality, make sure that they are focusing on Swadeshi supply chain, make sure that they are focusing on having talent development programs. Similarly, in this program also, in this target segment of developing Indian brand, we are very particular that the design has to be your own design. It cannot just be a copycat. It has to be your own design. Then only we'll approve it under the MPMS scheme. We are very particular on that. We are very rigid on that. We don't want to show any flexibility on that. So we see at this point of time 3 potential players. I cannot take the names. Obviously, I should not take the names because there are stock markets, there are other considerations. So that's why we always refrain from taking names of the companies. And that's a healthy practice. So we see 3 potential players who have the potential of coming up in a time frame of, let's say, about 10 to 14 months from now, which means somewhere in the middle of next year, we should see a good Indian brand coming out in the market. The non-tariff or rather the other methods that we have to implement will all be implemented in consultation with the industry. That is not as important as having the Indian design. Most important point is having Indian design.